motherfucking bag. Stand out the way, I made. Sacrificing time for this shit, man, I got a plan. Tried to tell niggas years ago, they ain't understand. Riding by myself and it's cool, I'm all in my head. Everything in life you can't replace, I build relationships. Pretty little smile make a nigga wanna lock it in. We met the same time I lost a friend, we should try again. You been on my mind, you should hop in. I ain't gon' hurt you, baby girl, you know we locked in. Used to be on FaceTime calls on the regular. Never made time, landed on my busy schedule. Now every time I hit the back.
Henny the Moore reporting live from the liquor store, man. And when all three of us come together, man, it's Cowboys Uncut.
Goddess.
West Coast Cowboy in the middle, the Kanye West of this content stuff.
And I'm a day one type of girl. Ain't nothing wishy-washy over here. I don't jump around, stick to one side. Yeah, the silver, the blue, we got them in their feelings. That star on the field, come pay the D a visit. They say it's hatred, is it? I call it hate and simping. Cause if we wasn't that hating, they wouldn't be in our business. Listen, West Coast say the water tastes better. The fan base go harder, and all the ladies get wetter. Yeah, that's how it is when you straight reppin' for Dallas. We get it in the trap, and landlord tell us what's happening. No explanations in no shape, form, or fashion. When Henny drop the stats, ain't nothing else to be asking. Them numbers don't lie, that's why your argument dry. And we still got them rings, you got your eyes on our prize. Whether an eagle, a giant, or a commando, you in the parking lot crying, we in the Lambo, we stay in our bag, we run it up in the draft. You still talking about the 90s, so who's stuck in the past? Get off me, and I'ma need you 6 feet back. And we ain't hearing nothing till your team beat that. And we ain't scared of running. So one team over here, this Cowboys, believe that. Yeah, it's you got us a poet. Big up West Coast Cowboys, HTM Sports, and Landlord from Alabama. Y'all check them boys out, man. Don't play around with the Cowboys content. Yeah, and you know it's DC. Yeah, DC4L. All day. Every day.
My dear Aunt Sally, we is at the P right now. We gotta go to free agency, then we gotta go to draft, then we can talk about training camp.
And Stephen Jones, who's also a multi-millionaire, moves and feels like a what? Like a dude that is got $15 in his bank account.
We finna come marching to Dallas with our picket signs, ticket torches, everything we can find.
And what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy, Henny the Moore, reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing? If my voice is a little jacked up right now, I am under the weather. You know, that's why I'm at home right now and not, on the clock. But there's a lot going on in Cowboys Nation, man. You know, it's the slow season. The season's officially over. So everything that is said by any Cowboy player or Cowboy coach will be magnified and looked over with a fine-tooth comb. So recently, Dak Prescott was at a cancer event with Troy Aikman. And, of course, after the event, he talked to reporters. And there were some things said that rubbed the fan base the wrong way for a multitude of reasons. Some people feel like Dak Prescott said exactly what he needed to say. Some people feel like Dak Prescott did not say enough. And to be quite frank with y'all, this is a multifaceted conversation to be had. Like a lot of things in life are grayer than they are just black and white. Right, because we know about the circumstances. We know that things in Dallas don't function the same everywhere else. But we also know that the truth is the truth. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Dak Prescott comments. Do I feel like he said what he should have said? Do I feel like there was another approach he could have taken? And really, does it even matter? Right, we'll talk about all those concepts. Because, I've been seeing folks be villainized and folks taking things out of context and all kind of things, man. So we'll talk about it. We'll have ourselves a good show, man, and we're just going to rock out, dog. But on the way into the liquor store, make sure y'all hit that like button. And really, we'll bring y'all into the liquor store. It's a little too quiet for my personal taste. I'm already a little congested. So let me play some music in the background. Let me get that pumped up. But yeah, man, while you're in here, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Make sure y'all slap the dog shit out of the Eagles fan, because listen, I'm still hating. I don't like that they done won another title on our watch. And make sure y'all hit that Cash App or that Super Chat, man. Well, no, actually, make sure y'all hit that Cash App. There is no Super Chat. Ain't no Super Stickers, because YouTube hates my guts, and I hate them niggas too. So if you want to support the liquor store and help keep the lights on, man, your only avenue to do so is the Cash App. It's $ Henny the More down there at the bottom, man. So I appreciate y'all in advance for everything that y'all do. And let's talk about it, man. So, like, again, as I stated, Dak Prescott spoke, at the cancer event. And he was mentioning, well, they asked him a question about the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me just phrase it like that. He was asked about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they stack up. And a lot of folks don't like the response. So I'm gonna play you the entire interview, and we'll just stop, as parts come up.
Alongside Troy, what does this all mean to you?
Nice, thank you. This is it's awesome. They always say what time and what experience does to you. This is something that I've always been honored to be a part of, humbled when Roger asked me to take his position in this chair, and obviously having my own relationship with cancer, losing my mom to it. This fight is something that I don't take lightly, and so to be a quarterback or be the champion on the front line means everything to me. But as I said, as life has progressed and you have kids and you start to understand and you see the face in some of these kids maybe that you've seen in your own at times. Today has hit in a whole different way than I know has ever. Just even to hear a girl say her hero is her dad. Blessed to be able to be a part of this fight with Troy, with the Children's Cancer Fund. And as I said up there, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that we continue to get more alumni here and fewer of the patients and models.
Is there a specific... Obviously, well known, like you said, how cancer has impacted you and your brothers and your family as far as your mom is concerned.
In that way, but unfortunately it's the reality for some of these parents. And as I said, that as well, to see and take on each and every day a little piece and shining a light on them during this fight that getting as much money gathered for research and development, as I said, to give these doctors and these scientists everything they need so we can lessen the number and end this terrible disease.
Is there a specific experience you've had while doing this that stuck with you?
A letter saying, I appreciate you going and Quincy Carter because of the Cowboys, because of the North Dallas, because of all the people that have poured into this foundation that have allowed a guy like him to be able to grow old and to serve and to do what he loves and be a part of a game that I love and create a relationship with a young man like that if it wasn't for this gala, who knows what would be possible.
Last one right here, last one.
Last one.
Football question.
I know y'all can give me a couple.
Okay,
go ahead.
Thoughts on Shadi becoming the head coach?
Yeah, super excited for him. This opportunity. Obviously, I've worked with him for the last couple of years, understanding the type of coach he is, the type of man he is, the way that he approaches the game. I think the best way to exemplify that is the son of a legendary football coach. He's not going to take anything about this game lightly. He enjoys the work in it. Kind of old-fashioned. I'm looking forward to the grind and some things that we're going to do and he's going to add, and excited for him. I know he's ready for it. He's been an assistant for a long time, and something else I admire is the way that he went on with the interviewing process. When you've been an assistant for 25 to 30 years, I know there's a quarterback coach, I know there's a receiver coach, a D coordinator, and a safety that you can call up without them thinking twice and they're going to come work for you. But for him to go through the due diligence of getting the guys in, interviewing them, and then taking it amongst the other guys that are there and making final decisions, I think speaks highly of his approach and the way that he's going to take care of things.
We talked about you guys being able to have a hard conversation with each other. How does that happen? How do you guys build that?
Yeah, I think just naturally it's kind of already happened. I know he alluded to, the interception at practice and me giving it back to him. And, it was a great moment of I understand and I appreciate that sense of standard. We're not accepting one play to come out. But at my point, hey, where did I get my risk versus reward? But that was a conversation that was very unpleasant at the front end. But it had to be addressed at some point or another, and it was immediately after practice, and it was two grown men coming to an understanding and appreciating each other for the competitiveness and the standard. And so I'm excited for things like that to grow, and not only just me in the quarterback position, but throughout every position on our team.
What type of impact did he have on you in McCarthy's system, and what kind of impact do you have with McCarthy's offense, and what change did you expect him to have on his own?
Yeah, I mean, a huge impact. I mean, he was a guy that was a vital part in putting the game plan together each and every week. Obviously, McCarthy was the one making the calls at the end of the day, but he was a big part in the on-game process, which call was being made. Obviously, I was in the headsets the latter part of the year, so heard all of that. Very professional guy, as I said, is ready, earned it, and deserves every bit of this opportunity that he's
What do you
getting.
expect to be different?
Yeah, and then honestly, I mean, I think he spoke on it in the press conference, right? And then following this year, we just got to get to running the ball, being a little bit more, consistent on that. And then from there, go back and look at the numbers. I've always enjoyed play action pass, so just being able to get back to that. But you got to start with the run game, and when you have that, the rest of the offense can open up. You saw that this.
One more. When you see what the
contracts.
Eagles just did, how far are you guys away from that level?
I mean, I feel like we compete with the Eagles and beat them for the most part when we've played them. I don't want to say check the record when they're the guys holding the trophy right now. So credit to them. They've earned it and they deserved it by all means. But, yeah, very close, especially when you even watch the NFC game, the NFC Championship. And those two teams that we battle against each and every year, a couple of times. And as I said, feel confident about we've gotten the better part each and every time. To see it in such a dominating fashion, credit to them. It's our turn and it's on us.
All right. He's got
Okay, how's your health?
Good. Yeah, my health is, for sure. My health is good. Doing a lot more. Getting there. I think I'm, 12 weeks or so out of surgery now. So I'm really looking to amp it up here recently. Got all my confidence, and it'll be fine. Thank you.
One quick question on Kellen Moore being head coach.
My guy, for sure. Super, yeah.
All right, and we're back. So that was what really pissed everybody off. Not really the comments about Shoddy, not really anything else that he said. Of course, people are happy to hear that he's getting healthier from the hamstring injury. But it was the comment about the Eagles that pissed everybody off. And that's why I think that we need to separate what was said, what's going on, and how that, So, one, y'all were mad at my boy Jay Tuck, man, because he said that the Eagles are not a litmus test for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know Dallas Cowboys history. He's right about that. Just because you match up well against the Philadelphia Eagles, because you play them 2 times a year, you're used to them. Just because you beat up on the Washington Commanders, you match up well with them, you're used to them. That does not actually mean that you're a football team that is on their level and ready to compete for a Super Bowl or compete to go to an NFC Championship game. Y'all are lifelong Dallas Cowboys fans like I am, I hope, right? Do you remember there was a year where the Dallas Cowboys went on and won the Super Bowl, but we got swept by the Washington Commanders, who were a lottery team? We didn't get swept by the Commanders because they were on a come up, or they were close to us in being competitive, or that we were on a similar level. They just know us. They knew us, so they were able to beat us. And they went through being a lottery team and not making the playoffs and picking high and all that other shit, and we went on to win the Super Bowl, right? So it's not actually a correlation there. You match up well against teams in your division because you play them all the damn time. Their players, their tendencies, their coaching staff. You know them by heart. You can damn near transplant footage from one year to another, because a lot of the times there's not going to be wholesale changes, right? Even with us having a new offensive coordinator and all this other stuff going on, the tendencies of Dak Prescott the same, the tendencies of CeeDee Lamb the same, the tendencies of Michael Parsons are the same. You can copy and paste a lot of that shit and have results against those teams just based off the personnel, right? So just because you match up and you beat the Eagles all the time, or you match up and you beat the Commanders all the time, does not mean that you're a team that's capable of competing for a Super Bowl, even if they're a Super Bowl level team, right? Exactly. My boy Numhead Neil remembers because we remember this shit. We're old enough. He said they went 4-12 that year, and half them damn wins was against us. Exactly. A 4-win team got 2 of their wins against the Super Bowl champions, who was us that year. So y'all got mad at Tuck because he said that was the litmus test. He wasn't wrong in that regard, right? Just because you can go in and beat up the Eagles and go in and beat up the Commanders does not actually mean that you're a Super Bowl competing team. And you have to be fair to him about that. He didn't lie to you, right? He didn't lie to y'all about that. So this is the thing I'm trying to say to you. the question to Dak Prescott was, how he feel about the Eagles. And so he answered it. The Eagles are a team he beats routinely. 9 of Dak Prescott's career wins are against the Philadelphia Eagles. Another large amount of wins in Dak Prescott's career had come against the Washington Commanders. So when they are brought up in a conversation about how he feels against them specifically, I don't think he lied about that. Like, Dak Prescott has made a lot of money just by beating the shit out of the Eagles and beating the shit out of the Washington Commanders. He gets a lot of wins against them. But, that does not mean that we're close to them in proximity of competing. They have better coaches right now. A lot of times they got better personnel. When you look top to bottom, you can say the Eagles have better personnel than the Dallas Cowboys. You can argue back and forth about some of it. I feel like we have the better quarterback, but the Eagles obviously have the better offensive line. They have the better running back. They have the better wide receiving core. They have the better tight end core, because outside of Jake Ferguson, who had a very bad year, right? They got great tight ends over there. They got a better defensive line top to bottom. I know we got a Micah Parsons, but they're deeper, and they actually got defensive tackles. None of our defensive tackles will start over there. Safety play. They got better safeties, right? So top to bottom, they are a better football team than us. You just check the positions. They're a better football team than us, right? So are we close to them when we talk about talent? I don't actually believe that. Now, I think you need a little bit more. I think that could change if you hit in free agency and you hit in the draft and you're actually, and you're actually aggressive in how you do that. Sure, but we're talking about close to competing for a championship. No, you can't stop the run. The Dallas Cowboys have been a bottom tier run defense since 2018. And even in 2018, when we were quote unquote a top run defense, we gave up 297 yards in the playoff game. When you talk about our run game, when you talk about how they perform in the postseason, we have not had a 100-yard rusher in the postseason since 2018, right? So when you talk about being a competitive team, you have to be able to win in every aspect. You have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to run the football. And the Dallas Cowboys have not been able to do that. And when you look at this roster, they're not currently built to do that with the guys that we have. We couldn't stop the run last year. And really for a large majority of the season, you could not run the football. Shout out to my guy, JVB Boy, for the Cash App, man. I do appreciate you for showing love and rocking out with me, man. Thank you for everything that you did, man. I appreciate you. Hold on. Cancel for my protection. Hold that thought, because Cash App is tripping. What the hell are they talking about? All right, so whatever happened, Cash App sent it back, bro. So I'm not sure what happened. Everybody hates me now, so I don't know. That's just so weird. Okay. But yeah, Cash App sent it back, bro. So if you want to try to resend it, do so. But yeah, they hated me out. I don't even know what that was about. They canceled it for some weird reason. But fuck them. But yeah, man, we will see how serious this organization is as soon as free agency kicks off. Yeah, yes, we will. But also, man, this is another thing that we need to discuss. And I want to be very detailed with how I say this, because I understand both sides. You can make the argument that regardless of what Dak Prescott says, they're not going to do anything, right? You can make that argument. You could say, well, hell, Dak Prescott publicly said that he wants Mike McCarthy back, and they did not retain Mike McCarthy, right? You could say that they've asked for things publicly, not just Dak Prescott, but you could say players around the Dallas Cowboys have asked for things over the years and it never actually transpired. You could say those things, right? But you also could say, hey, Mike Zimmer asked for defensive tackles publicly, and even though they weren't great defensive tackles, they brought 3 of them boys in, right? So it's not like in every situation that a closed mouth, that they spoke and they didn't get something. It may not have been what we wanted, but it's hard to say though, man. But one thing I will say is if there's anybody in Dallas who is protected, who cannot be moved, and they're going to villainize anyway, is Dak Prescott. They're tied to him financially for a bunch of years. He can't be traded. He can't be cut because of the cap hit. So, Dak Prescott, if he wanted to, he could play that role. He could be the person to speak up and address the issues. Now, the argument would be, would it matter? That's left to be seen. Right, you can argue either way. And there could be past discrepancies that can lean you either way. Right, you can argue either way because we've seen it happen both ways. But when you have the power, like sometimes people do want you to address it and use it. So I understand that, man. But what we as a fan base cannot do is when we divide ourselves over something like that. If you feel this way about it and I feel this way about it, we cannot be going to war with each other. At the end of the day, the biggest villain in Dallas is the front office. The biggest villain is Jerry Jones. The biggest villain is Stephen Jones. I don't feel like we should be divided over the players. Even though they have a platform, even though some of them are more outspoken, Michael Parsons speaks his mind all the time, right? Dak Prescott always give you the corporate answer. Both of them are going to get fucked or have been fucked by the Dallas Cowboys, since they've been here. Michael Parsons already got trade rumors circling around him. Dak Prescott played, and he's the outspoken one. He's the one that asks for stuff. He's the one that's been vocal. He still finna go through the smear campaign. Dak Prescott does everything the right way. He is still finna go through the smear campaign. So my thought process behind this is this, man. Regardless of what happens, regardless of what is said, they're going to fuck them boys equally. So this is my thing. You could argue, hey, if you're going to be the villain anyway, you might as well speak up about it. Right? I understand that. But I also don't feel like we should be attacking each other over having this difference of opinion, man. Like, there are better things to do with our time. There's better things to do with our energy than to be fighting each other over the negligence of the front office. We seen the passionate face of the franchise, Dez Bryant, fired up on the sidelines, and there's always the smear campaign for them. We seen the corporate guy and Dak Prescott get dragged. We seen the quiet guy that never speaks up, and Amari Cooper, his ass got traded. At the end of the day, man, I still feel strongly that the front office knows better and they should do better. I also want to ask y'all this: how much pressure can we realistically put on the front office? Now, I admit they don't like being made fools of. They don't like being the laughing stock, the jokes. They don't like that shit. They don't like being made to seem incompetent. They get the little man syndrome about that shit. But I don't know, man. It's really a touchy subject when we talk about it, man. Because I get it. He said Jerry doesn't listen to Super Bowl champs that played for him, but people expect him to listen to Dak. I think it's tenfold, because even though he doesn't necessarily listen to Emmett or Troy or nobody else to give him critiques, the guy on your team that you're paying, if Dak Prescott was to throw them under the bus it would make headlines just like it's making headlines right now, man. So I get it. Like, listen, I can realistically see both sides of the argument. Cause it just depends on it just for personally, it just depends on how you feel these words affect the front office. If you feel that Dak speaking up can do something and can affect the front office, whether it just makes them uncomfortable, makes them want to save face, things like that, I understand it. If you feel like it falls on deaf ears, I also understand that too. But hey, we can also agree, if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, you might as well try. Because listen, I was strongly on like, fuck it, like they ain't gonna do nothing no way. But then my boy pointed out that'd be a little hypocritical of you, Henny. Because every time you get on here, you cussing somebody out about some shit that they said. Like, you don't even take the high road when it comes to your platform. You don't even take the high road when it comes to disrespect towards you. Right? And I just asked Dak Prescott to continue to be the company guy and not rock the boat. That's hypocrisy. Right? That would be hypocritical on me if I told Dak Prescott not to rock the boat. Right? It's hypocritical. But the only kind of argument that I would have is, this is who I am. I cuss people out all the time. From family to friends to strangers. That's how I talk. That's how I interact with people when I feel disrespected. I'm not sure if that's really Dak Prescott to publicly do it. Like, he might be comfortable doing it within his circle of friends, right? He might say some stuff on the sideline to his people in the moment, but is that really Dak Prescott's character, for public speaking? Because that man fumbles over his words and gets a little flustered and shit like this during interviews. So is that really Dak Prescott? If that's really Dak Prescott's character behind the scenes and he's putting on a show, then be better, Dak, and be a real person. But if it's really Dak Prescott that we see up there that want to make these, want to placate people and shit like that, then who am I to tell you to change who you are? I would say Dak Prescott knows the truth. Dak Prescott knows if he's really the person that we catch every now and then, talking to his guys and saying how he feels, and we also know Dak also knows if he's more the person that doesn't want that kind of public pressure and shit. Right? We know some people are comfortable saying things around their friends that they would never say to other people. And we know people that are unfiltered, unadulterated in any environment that you put them in. Like, you got friends you damn near scared to bring around other friends because they are loose cannons. And I don't know if that's necessarily Dak Prescott. He said, let's also tried and true over the history of the game. Defense win titles, build this defense starting with the damn D-line. He said, what's wild is the Eagle brass wants to get stronger in their deep and strong positions. Joneses don't do that at all. Now, listen, I never want to exonerate the front office from things. But it's also fair to say that we fight tooth and nail for these players. We fight tooth and nail for these players, dog. We go to war for them. We call people outside their names to protect them. And is it not fair for some people, whether you agree with it or not, is it not fair for some of these people to say to fight the front office with the same vigor that we fight for you? I believe that's fair. If you fight tooth and nail, you fight to death for the player, they should want to fight themselves. Like, you have friends that you might have grew up, you might have had a friend that was scary, and they didn't want to fight nobody, and you will fight their battles for them. It's going to come to a point in time, man, where I'm out here whooping everybody. You got to at least fight for yourself, man. You got to at least help me jump the nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. I understand. Like, I'm not too obtuse or too hard-pressed one way or the other to understand what people are talking about. Like, even if you don't agree with everything that people are saying, you can at least put yourself in position to understand where they're coming from. You can at least put yourself in position to understand, hey, man, in real life, when you fight for somebody, you do expect them to fight for themselves eventually. Like, people be going to war for Dak Prescott. So for the folks that be getting crucified and called Dak lovers and all this other stuff, it would be nice for Dak Prescott to fight for himself and fight for what he believes in some damn times, man. We could say that and be fair. That's a fair criticism. You and listen, for folks that have dealt with Jerry Jones and Jerry speech and all that other stuff, man. We understand that it's hard for us to believe that the Joneses will change their thought process and shit, regardless of who talks. We seen Dez Bryant try and do it. Right? We seen Dez Bryant try to do it. We seen Amari Cooper speak. We seen past players like the DeMarcus Ware and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and everybody else speak up about the things that they want to see in Dallas, and it doesn't happen. So I understand that. I understand them people and why they feel that way. But really, this is about understanding. This is about understanding why people feel the way that they feel about the subject. Because at the end of the day, this shit is subjective. We be like, because listen, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened either way. Neither process has worked out in Dallas Cowboys' favor. The loud, outspoken player has not lasted in Dallas. The corporate guy has not lasted in Dallas. So I'm really trying to see, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know if any of this is going to work out, but I understand. And I think that we should be more understanding as a fan base and not crucify each other for having these different stances. Especially well-meaning people, man. Like Tucker's real good at what he does, man. He's not out here trying to crucify Dak Prescott and nail him to the cross. Right? Even if whether you agree with the man or not, he's not out here blatantly trying to do that. He said, we as fans have to keep calling out Jerry and Steven for not winning, as we should. As we should. But I don't know, man. Like I said, it's not that black and white. It really is not that black and white, dog. He said most quarterbacks don't fight the front office in public. Shit, Brady done called them folks out plenty of times. When he went down to Tampa, he called out Bruce Arians and the coaching staff plenty of times. Right? He's called out Bill Belichick before because Bill has called him out. Right? When you talk about Aaron Rodgers called them boys out. He always called his front office out. He always called his coaches out. He always called his teammates out publicly. And listen, the media loved him for it. The media loved him for it. Y'all love Henny the Moore for cussing folks out on live stream. Y'all rock with me for that shit. Y'all love when my boy Landlord goes on these epic ass rants. Y'all love that. Because y'all feel like people are saying the truth and speaking the truth. Speaking their truth at least. So I understand why some people will want Dak Prescott to speak his truth. He said Spicy Dak has been missing for a while. He has. But this is the thing, though, man. We can focus on that, but I do want to keep track of one thing. He did ask. Nah, I don't want to just blame players and coaches, and I'm not doing that. Like, listen, Dak Prescott has only been here for 10 years. The Dallas Cowboys front office has been incompetent for 30. We know what the overhanging, overarching problem is, but we need their help. We need the guys in the building help to try to change the shit. No matter how much, we sit on here and scream, and beg the front office to do things, it's more impactful coming from those guys. It really is more impactful coming from Dak Prescott. It is more impactful coming from CeeDee Lamb. It is more impactful coming from Micah Parsons. So I can give leeway with that. That is true. A lot of that shit is true. Will it pay dividends in the long run? That is left to be seen. Because last time I checked, the nail in Dallas that sticks out, they do get hammered down. Jake the asshole. YouTube channel exposed to NFL. Shit is a joke, bro. 100. Man. And listen, Dak does have skins on the wall. When he was a 4th round pick, not barely making $500K a year, we get it, dog. We get it, dog. But right now, you're the highest paid quarterback in the league. You can't be traded. You can't be cut. If you feel there's an injustice going on, Dak Prescott, I need you to speak up. But I will also say this, to be fair also to Dak Prescott. Players are delusional, dog. To be a good football player in the National Football League, you have to have some kind of audacity to even believe you can make it. The dudes in the NFL are the 1% of the 1%. They're the 1% of the 1%. You have to be a little delusional to make it to the NFL. Because there are plenty of times you could have given up on your football journey. Dak Prescott was a 3-star prospect that a lot of colleges try to recruit as a fucking tight end. To make it to the NFL, become a franchise quarterback and an all-pro quarterback, you have to be a little fucking delusional to do that shit. You have to be a little delusional to do that shit. So when you talk to guys like Michael Parsons and they say, "Oh man, we got a great team," if you don't look at the scoreboard, we were right there with the Eagles. That's some delusional shit. That is delusional. But you have to be a little delusional to be a top tier NFL player. You have to be a little delusional. You have to tell yourself, "Oh man, fuck that. We're gonna get them next time." Especially if you're a quarterback. Especially if you're a cornerback in a corner. Corners get beat all the damn time, and they got to go back out there and say, "F it, we got them this time." You got to have a short memory if you're a corner. You got to be a little delusional. There are instances where a 6th-round cornerback will be playing Justin Jefferson, dog. Shout out to my boy Donald for the Cash App, man. I appreciate you for the love and support, man. Thank you very much. Also, JVB boy, I am not sure what happened, but Cash App blocked the payment that you tried to send. I'm not sure what happened, but they blocked it. They said they blocked it for some weird reason. I got to call support for them. But I appreciate you for your support, man. He said, "Yeah, but some players are concerned about their brand, them making noise about the problem is." Man, I don't think it depends. It depends. I don't think somebody like CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott are concerned about their brands. Because regardless of what happens, they're in Dallas. They already done got the bag. They already done got paid. And Michael Parsons is one of the most coveted players in the National Football League. He's one of the most coveted players in the National Football League. He's one of the best players in the National Football League. So telling yourself that you're going to get them next time is not delusional. That's self, people. It's not that delusional. You have to, because listen, sometimes that shit is not true. Sometimes that shit is not true at all, but you have to tell yourself that you can keep competing. I don't know what his current Cash App is. I think Wes might have a different Cash App now. You have to check with Cuz and see. And this is the thing, man. Like, a lot of things can be true at one time. If you say Dak Prescott is delusional for thinking he can beat the Eagles, he might be a little bit, but he has beaten the shit out of them a lot of times. And to be a real competitor, you have to be a little delusional. The other thing you could say is Dak Prescott. You also still need to put the public pressure on, on the front office because you really don't have what you need. You need better weapons in order to compete with the top brass of the NFL, especially in the NFC. You do not stack up with the Detroit Lions. You do not stack up with the Eagles. You don't stack up with those guys from a talent standpoint, top to bottom. You do not. So it's a multifaceted discussion because you can, and that's sort of reason why you can't always rely on the players to say shit because they are not always the best people to say things. They are not. Because we talking here. What if Dak Prescott really believes that shit? What if Dak Prescott really believes he's good enough to run out there and win with these guys? That is fucking delusional. Said they have a real team over there though. That's the difference. That's true. They got a real front office too. Because that team didn't build itself. They actually went out there and signed Saquon. They moved up a lot of times to draft the players that they drafted. Matter of fact, 8 of their 22 starters over there for that Super Bowl team were free agents, picked up over the course of the last 3 years. Right? Becton was a free agent. We know that Saquon was a free agent. They traded to get A.J. Brown over here. He said, that can't eat. Hey, listen, and I know, regardless of who said it, there is nothing else going on right now. There is no football going on. The Super Bowl just happened. We're not to the draft yet. The combine ain't happened. We're not to free agency yet. Anything that is said by a Dallas Cowboys player can and will be used against you in the court of law and the court of public opinion. So when you speak in public as a Dallas Cowboy player, and Dak Prescott has been here long enough to know this, Micah has been here long enough, CeeDee Lamb has been here long enough. If you tweet anything or say anything, that shit is going to circulate like the coronavirus. It's going to go here, there, and everywhere else. It's going to be in the air and the atmosphere. So just be ready, right? Be ready. Make sure you say what you want to say, and make it count. So like, listen, we didn't. Dak said what he said, and now people are going to be spending the next week or so analyzing that shit. It is part of the game. It is what it is. Right? It is what it is. That's why I said, man, regardless of how you feel about it, it's going to stir up emotions one way or the other. Because, dog, we just seen our biggest ops win a championship. Nobody in Dallas Cowboy land is happy. We just seen the ops win. They blew out Patrick Mahomes. They up here finna have a victory parade, and the Tush Push King is now being put over Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and everybody else in these conversations going around. I just seen a show where people hands down are saying that Jalen Hurts is now a better quarterback than Josh Allen, who just won MVP. Right? This the kind of atmosphere that we're living in. So yes, people are emotional, and people are going to latch on and project their feelings on anything that is said about the Dallas Cowboys. That comes with the territory at this point. Like I said, man, this is a multi-layered conversation. The climate that this was said in affects how people feel about it. How people view, how the front office perceives what the players say affects this. Whether you believe Dak Prescott believes some of the shit that he says affects this. So that's why I don't want y'all to get your tiki torches and your pickaxe and all the other shit too early, man. Like, don't go around crucifying your fellow Cowboys fans, whether they feel one way about this or the other. Like, there's a lot of things that are affecting how we view this right now. Because, listen, the only thing I was going to come on here and focus on was that Dak Prescott wants to run the football. He wants to get back to play action. I had an entire show built for that. I did not expect to get out my sick bed and have this conversation with y'all, man. I did not get out my sick bed and expect to have this conversation. But here we are. We're sitting here talking about what Dak Prescott said at a cancer drive, because it made people feel bad. Or it made people feel some type of way. And now y'all attacking my content brothers. Y'all attacking, and listen, y'all attacking folks on both sides. Y'all attacking them for saying they ain't find nothing wrong with what Dak Prescott said, and y'all attacking them also for Dak Prescott for them saying that Dak Prescott should have said more. So really, y'all ain't gonna be happy regardless of either way, because y'all attacking both on both sides. I'd have seen y'all attack CFT for saying he didn't see nothing wrong with what Dak said, and I see y'all attacking Tuck. So like y'all just emotional right now. But that's why I wanted to come on here and have a very nuanced conversation about this shit. Because y'all ain't gotta crucify them. Y'all ain't gotta crucify them folks like that. Said ball was only passed 22 times that game, and the defense was for sure carrying that entire team. Yeah. But I got attacked for saying that people resumes like the Super Bowl MVPs and Super Bowls hold so much weight that I understand why people do it. Because remember, Troy Aikman. I love Troy. He won all those titles for Dallas. He's the face of the Dallas Cowboys, most prolific winner in Dallas Cowboys history. Troy Aikman was never an All-Pro. He was never an MVP. He was never really even an MVP candidate, right? But we still remember him more fondly than Jim Kelly, who was an All-Pro quarterback. There were guys that won MVPs like Steve McNair that we don't even think about no more, right? We don't even think about them in the same conversation as Troy Aikman, right? There were guys that threw for way more yards and way more touchdowns, but we love and appreciate Troy Aikman for being a winner. And that's sort of what's going on with Jalen Hurts. That's what's going on with Jalen Hurts right now. There are guys that are MVPs. There are guys that been to the Super Bowl and lost. But he's a Super Bowl MVP and he won a Super Bowl. So that holds a lot of weight for some people. You know what I mean? That holds a lot of weight for some people. And we would be hypocritical to be mad at that. Because if Dak Prescott won a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl, I'm putting him over everybody and their mama. So I'm not mad at them for doing that. I'm not mad at them for having those conversations, because we would do the same thing. And I know we'll do the same thing because history remembers Troy Aikman more than they remember some of these MVPs. Because you can make the argument that this one person was a better individual player, but you also got to remember when it comes to legacy, 9 times out of 10, the folks that vote to get people into the Hall of Fame, they're voting for the Super Bowl MVP over the regular season MVP. If that person is one and the same, then they give him extra love. But there's a real reason why Cam Newton might not get into the Hall of Fame, right? There's a real reason why Cam Newton might not make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and guys like Broadway Joe Namath are in that motherfucker. It just is what it is. Salute to my boy Landlord 723. I said that because that's his cash app. You got love for Landlord, you hit his cash app. My boy is out the hospital. He's recovering. He's doing better. Make sure y'all hit his cash app, man. Make sure y'all hit my boy cash app and show him some love and show him some support, man. And he'll be back on this content train with us very soon. Very, very soon, man. So, yeah. So, I get it. I understand. But I want y'all to get it and understand. And that's really why I wanted to do this show. Right? Because there's layers to this shit, dog. We can't act like in the real world that life is not more shades of gray than it is black and white. But and listen, I ain't even been playing no music. I just had to get that off my chest, man. Like if we can have a nuanced conversation without crucifying folks for feeling one way or the other. we can have a very nuanced conversation about it without crucifying folks one way or the other. But I got to get off of here, man. It's been 50 minutes. I just wanted to give you my thoughts about that shit. I'm going to rock with y'all, man. God bless you. I'll see y'all next time. On the way out, man, make sure y'all hit that Cash App. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We're still beefing with YouTube. We're trying to make it through. But they hate us, though, man. They really hate us. So everything that y'all seeing over here goes a long way. It could be $1. It could be 50 cents. It could be whatever. But it goes a very, very long way, bro. So thank y'all in advance. And in the words of West Coast Cowboy, man, y'all never look down because the start